Yo, what up my beautiful G's, and welcome back to part 3 of this Fever project. In this video we will talk about the fill-in of the piece, we will do the outlines of the piece, and we will do the start of the background work on this piece. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2 of this video, I will link them in the description. Please check those out first and then come back to this beautiful outline video. The fill-in is almost done, and with this blue and yellow fill-in, I thought purple outlines will look the best. So that's what we are going to do now. We are going to start on the outline, and we will do the 3D as well. You know that purple outlines is something I really like. I use a ton of purple outlines in my pieces. I don't know why, it just always looks good. Especially with these paint markers that I can refill myself. I will make like I have five like purples that I will all use in this piece. Now we will just use 3 and also some pink, but that is later on after some details. I'm not sure if that's in this video or in the next part. There's a lot of outlines on this piece and they are really big because the piece is so big. I did some outlines before the fill-in was finished, because then I knew where I had to put the tape to cover up the yellow before I sprayed the blue. And on some parts I knew this is blue, so I want some yellow there, and then we had to tape that off, spray the yellow, and continue with the outlines. Putting in these 3Ds right away when doing the outlines is really helpful, because then you don't have to walk around your piece the whole time. So you will see me fill in all the big spots of the 3D already. Doing the 3D and the outlines is definitely my favorite part of doing pieces. Definitely putting the shines on top of the 3D blocks and the outlines is always something I can really lose myself in. Just making all the shines is such nice work. It always takes a ton of time, but I always like it so much to make it perfect. Making all the nice fades with the marker and the brush technique, I just can lose myself doing that for hours. The piece is really coming together like this. When you put the outline on and 3D, you'll see how the piece will look at the end already, before all the details and stuff like that. So last parts of the fill-in, I really took a look at what is on the left side of the name, and tried to copy a little bit of that to the last letter. Doing the filling like this makes your outline work a little bit easier, because you already know where the lines are coming. When you do a normal fade, you'll lose a lot of your sketch, and then it's always a little bit harder to put your outline on. When I'm doing these outlines, I always try to take the long lines first, and then where the parts where all the letters connect and all the little details are, I'll do them later on. That's the only stuff that we really have to think about. So first long lines, then all the other lines. It's always really helpful also when you're working on your pieces on the wall. If you take all the lines that are in the same direction, and you take all those lines first. I don't know why, it helps a lot. Definitely for walls, because you are doing the same line over and over again. It's helpful. So now it's time to go to the background. We taped off everything that has to remain wood, or the piece, and all the sticker effect stuff. And now we will go start spraying the background. We will use a ton of scrap cans and stuff like that, all to fill in on the background. We will do some techies, some dollar signs, some stuff like that, some acrylic paint, and then give it some motion with empty smoking papers, package. Yeah, and then we will unpack the piece again. most of these details inside of this background will not make sense at the end, but that being there is just filling up stuff, and sometimes you'll see like a little part of the smiley or a little part of the dollar sign or the tag, and it just gives it something to look at. Nothing can go wrong with doing a background like this. If there's something you don't like, just spray something over it and just keep working in those layers. You'll see me use some water as well when I do the dripstick tags. Sprayed some water to make the drips a little bit more. I just use an empty container of cleaning supplies and put some water in that and just spray that on the wood. Also, when you spray some water somewhere and you spray over it and then take the water away, it also gives like a weird effect because the paint doesn't stuck on the pieces that are wet, but on some parts it will stuck, and yeah, it gives crazy effect. Just some more details and then we will take off all the tape, and we will see that I messed up a little bit on the ER of the name. There's a one line where two pieces of tape didn't connect. It's always a good idea to check yourself 10 times, and you will see after you check yourself 10 times that there's still one part get messed up because you didn't put the tape on right. It wasn't too bad, so I decided not to cover it up again. Only where the outlines are, I painted over them because we didn't do the 3D. I thought we will do the 3D before, but we probably do the 3D after all that stuff. So yeah, maybe on the next part, the 3D. Now we will take care of the last part of wood that is still visible. What we are going to do here, I sketched out my name in the stencil style and I copied that 10 times to put it all together after each other, so it's waste, 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 waste. And we will put that on the part where there's only some wood visible, like it's behind everything. So I put the tape there, I cut it all out, and I sprayed some transparent black, some black and some brown on those letters, and there's still some wood visible after we take the tape off. I really wanted to show some wood in this piece because yeah, it's really weird to paint on wood, so it's nice to use the wood in your advantage on building up this piece. Before we take everything off, I'll also put on some glow-in-the-dark paint on those letters. Glow-in-the-dark paint is a really nice effect on stuff like this, but it's very hard to find a good glow-in-the-dark paint. I got these at the little store, supermarket, and they just had them for €7 a thing, and I bought two, one in green and one in paint. It's really thin paint, so I don't use a brush, I just use a glove and put it on with my finger. So big homies, this is my part 3 of this project, and thank you for watching. Please tap that subscribe button so it's yours and you won't miss out on any of my next videos on this project or any of my other walls and projects. This has been one of the craziest years in my Graffiti YouTube history, so thank you for that.